Assassin's Creed was too big to fit into just a couple of games, and Ubisoft asked us to do a comic book that expanded on that, and what we're doing is making up new stories and playing in their world.
Assassin's Creed The Fall is a new chapter in the Assassin's Creed story.
The main driving force behind creating the comic book was to open up the universe, to introduce some new characters, to introduce some new locations, and at the same time have them fit snugly into the universe that we've created.
Initially, it made sense to develop a story based on Ezio, who's already a very popular character in the Assassin's Creed universe.
And then we decided that it was actually more interesting for us creatively to work on a new character and a new timeline and open up the universe a bit and do something that was new rather than just a retread of what had come before.
Assassin's Creed The Fall is the story of Nikolai Orlov, who is one of the only assassins we see in turn-of-the-century Russia, and his connection to Daniel Cross, who is an ancestor of his in the late 1990s.
Like in the video games, it's set in two different time periods. We've got a modern storyline and the historical storyline.
It's a story about how men make choices and deal with family.
We were given a list of potential time periods to choose from. It wasn't a limited list. I mean, we could do everything we wanted, but when we were looking through the list, Tsarist Russia really kind of stuck out to us.
The mood of the 1917 revolution was thematically very close to the mood of the story we wanted to tell.
The Assassin's Creed games have always been about times of great social and political change. That's one of the themes of the games. And that was a very tumultuous time in Russia leading right up until the Russian Revolution of 1917.
Well, as we researched the revolution and some of the interesting historical figures in that time frame, it was hard to not notice some of the coincidences there in terms of characters who were assassinated or political intrigue and that sort of thing.
When you're doing something that's set in an actual historical place and that's dealing with real history, it's really valuable to go to the actual place and experience it for yourself.
You get a sense of a place and its people, and you bring that home with you and incorporate it into the work in a way that you couldn't anticipate. So we went to St. Petersburg.
We took lots of photographs and did lots of drawings, and basically just being there and soaking up the culture and getting a feel for the place makes the book feel so much more authentic.
There are influences from the trip that crept into our plot and the page layouts and the story and even the color palette.
On est parti un peu avec des images Épinal en tête et on s'est rendu compte que l'atmosphère était réellement différente des clichés qu'on pouvait avoir sur la ville. Moi, particulièrement en termes de lumière, je ne m'attendais pas du tout à me retrouver dans une ville aussi européenne.
Working with Nadine has been fantastic. She's a super talented colorist, and it's really exciting when we see the pages that we've done in black and white come alive with the color.
It's kind of like Christmas when we get the colored pages back. We have a certain concept in mind for palette and lighting, but you never know what you're going to get, and Nadine brings something to it that's lush and more saturated and beautiful than I think either of us had anticipated.
We're working on this comic in a way that's very different from how comics are usually done with two artists. Usually there's more of a clear breakdown between one who does layouts and one who does finishes or pencils and inks.
It's not a process that I've ever seen done before in quite this way because we're working on the pages concurrently. I mean, the finished page isn't really complete until the end of the production because we're passing them back and forth and we're redrawing and drawing.
It's a constantly evolving and changing piece of art. It's very organic. It's exciting to see the whole thing come together. You know, suddenly it feels like a real comic.
I'm extremely proud of the final product. I think they've done an incredible job, and I'm hoping that everyone out there will agree with us that this is, a really worthy addition to the Assassin's Creed universe.
I'm proud of this project particularly because we've had so much creative freedom with it. Ubisoft gave us a world to play with and let us do almost whatever we wanted.
The interesting thing about Assassin's Creed is that we have the entire of human history to draw from, and so the number of stories that you could tell, the number of characters you could use or create is almost limitless.
So it would be nice to go back and play with some different characters in a different part of the world and different cultures and religions and see what we can come up with.
I don't know what the future holds, but I'm hoping that the next steps involve more collaborations with them, and in a perfect world, we might even have a chance to make a game that's set in the Russian time period that they've been working. That would be really cool.